Welcome to Hispanic Biz Success Stories. I'm Homero Galicia. We're fortunate in this program to interview Hispanic business owners who built very good businesses, to learn from them their stories. Every business has a story, and we hope that you enjoy this story. We're fortunate today to have with us Mr. Juan Marquez, who owns the Bowie Bakery at 901 South Park. Mr. Marquez, I appreciate you taking time to let us talk to you about your story.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, the Bowie Bakery is an institution in El Paso, and it's known for its very good bread. So how long has the Bowie Bakery been serving the community?
Well, as far as I know, it's since 1951.
And of course, were you around in 1951?
No, of course not.
You came later.
A little bit later.
But what was the history of the Bowie Bakery?
Well, as far as I know, it was named because Bowie High School was right across the street. In fact, there was a Bowie grocery that was there for years and years, and it closed, I'd say about 10 years ago. It just, the owners passed away and it just closed. But yeah, that's where it got the name, from the high school.
And your parents got into it later?
Yes. My parents met here in El Paso. My father worked in his brother's bakery. His older brother, he had him come down from Zacatecas, where he was born. And so my father was a baker there, and his brother had him come, like I said, come over, and he started working for him. And then I guess after a while, I believe my mom got a job there, and that's where they met.
Oh, that's neat.
And they worked together for a while, and I don't know why, but they moved to California. They moved over there, and he rented a little bakery there. And that's where I was born, in Los Angeles. And then a friend of his from here, a fellow baker, went to visit him and told him that they were selling the Bowie Bakery. And I guess he came up here, and I guess he liked it. He bought the business, not the property, just the business. And then shortly after that, my mother and I came to El Paso.
What year was that?
1971.
71.
Yes.
And so how did you get to El Paso then? You came from Los Angeles.
Yeah, my mother and I took the train, and it was a fun trip for me. I still remember, like I said, I was about 4 or 5, and I remember a lot of the fun stuff on the train, you know, eating there, sleeping there. And I remember when we got to the station, it was a Union Depot. Yeah, I remember, you know, getting down and looking at the depot, and in fact looking at, I saw the old engine. They used to have it right there, right outside, and that was a nice memory. I remember that, and we just met my dad and me. We just started living here, and they started working the bakery, and I still remember how hard it was for them. We lived in the Northeast, way out there in the Northeast, and we used to catch the bus. We used to take the bus out early in the morning. I remember the sun hadn't come out yet, and we were waiting across the street for the bus, the 3 of us, and we'd hop on and drive all the way down to downtown, to the Placita. And I remember getting the transfers. They used to give a transfer so you could get the other bus, and then we'd finally get to the bakery, and they'd start their day.
Wow. So you'd had to commute.
Yes.
By bus.
Yes.
And you were still a kid.
Right.
And so that was a long trip. So what time would you open the bakery?
Well, like I said, it was really early. I remember it being dark. Ever since I can remember, we've opened at 6 in the morning. Now, I'm not sure if that was all the time. I mean, like I said, I don't remember, everything. Yeah. But yeah, they would open really early and sometimes close really late too, as well.
Wow. And then take the bus back. So,
yes.
So your father was always a baker?
Yes.
And your mother worked with your father?
Yes.
And what was
Yes.
your father's name?
Angel Marquez.
And your mother's name?
Maria.
Maria. And so you grew up in the bakery.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do as a kid?
Just play around. I remember climbing on the sacks of flour and just jumping off of them. And I mean, it was fun. I remember as a kid growing up there. Yeah, I remember my dad would put a little box up against the work table, and he'd throw little pieces of dough, and I'd just play around with them. And he'd show me how to make the different pieces of bread. And I remember I used to make them, try to make them just like he did, and he would bake them. So there were these tiny little empanadas and little cookies and stuff. And I remember my mom would put them out front to sell them. Well, I guess to sell them, but I didn't want her to though. I wanted them for myself. I remember that. And yeah, that was a nice memory. I remember that.
Well, there's a lot of tradition with Mexican bakery.
Mm-hmm.
I know that every piece has a name, so I guess that's something you learned right away, was the names of these pieces.
Yeah, there's a lot of different and strange names, and I don't know where it came from. I guess from Mexico. But yeah, that was something that people like. You tell them the name of a certain piece of bread, and they'll laugh, and it's pretty neat. It's funny.
Yeah, like when I go, I point and I say, "Well, I want some of these," or "Quiero de estos."
Yeah.
And they'll tell me the name.
Uh-huh.
Like I know now elotes. I like elotes because they look like
Yes.
like corn, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you as you growing up there? Now you have other brothers and sisters.
I had 2 brothers, 1 sister, but one of my brothers passed away in 1995.
Oh my!
Yes, and so just have my oldest brother and my sister. My sister's the oldest.
And so you all grew up there.
Yes. Well, actually, my sister, she got married very young, so she didn't live there. We're here in El Paso. She lived in Mexico.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you're working alongside your father. What did you learn from your father?
Well, she was a hard worker. He showed me, taught me how to work, how to everything about the business. I mean, I learned, like I said, I was always there. I would play there and spend a lot of time there, and I'd just watch him work. And I just learned what a hard worker he was. He was there day and night, and it was his passion. He never took a day off. He'd take Christmas off, but only because he had to. I guess my mom forced him to. But yeah, he was always there, and I learned that from him. He was a good man, very caring man. He helped out people all the time.
Helping out by?
Whichever way he could, any way he could. If there's somebody who needed $1 or something, he'd gladly give him a little hand. And but he was a very good man. Everybody loved him. Everybody knew him as a very kind, loving man.
Yeah, very cool. And your mom?
My mom was a nice lady too. She was a feisty lady. Yeah, she was a boss there. I mean, everybody did what she said. I mean, she was on top of everything, and she was a good woman too.
So she ran the business too with your father?
Yes. Yeah.
Your father was primarily the baker?
Right.
And
he was the maestro.
Okay. So you call a master baker a maestro?
Well, that's what they call him.
Okay,
maestro. They call it maestro.
And so the recipes that came, were they there at the bakery, or did your father have his own?
No, those were his.
Okay.
Yeah, he brought those from Mexico.
Because it's really good. I've been going to Bowie Bakery for years. I always loved it. Can't get anything better. Appreciate that.
Right.
So your brothers and sisters, let me ask you, what schools did you go to school in the neighborhood, or did you go to school where you lived?
Yes. Well, first I went to school over in the Northeast. I started school. No, actually, the first school I went to was in first grade. It was at the Sagrado Corazon Church.
Sacred Heart.
Yeah, Sacred Heart. They had a little school there, and I went there in the first grade, and then I started going to school where we lived, the Northeast Crosby, Crosby Elementary. And then after a while, my mom decided to pull me out of there and put me at the schools right there around the bakery, Hart Elementary. And then I went to Guillen Middle School.
Okay.
And then to Bowie.
Okay.
To Bowie.
So you grew up in one neighborhood, but you went to school and lived your day in the South El Paso. Well, South El Paso has a history of its own. I remember that it at one time it was 1 square mile with 10,000 residents. So it was an intense, but it's always been a low-income community. But that's the community you served.
Yes.
But yet your customer base comes from all over town.
Right.
People drive. I drive to there because you've I guess people have picked up that distinctive taste. And so did you go on to college after high school?
I went to UTEP. Yes, I went to UTEP.
And what did you study there?
Business management and marketing.
You did, and you finished.
Yes.
What year did you finish?
It was took me a while, but it was in 92.
Okay. And you were working while you were going to school.
Yes.
And you're married. When did you meet your wife?
Actually, in 1992.
Okay.
Yeah.
There at UTEP, or?
No, actually, I met her. Actually, it was a course, an anthropology course at community college. I knew the instructor. He was an anthropology professor, and he invited me to. He would do a travel study program in the summer, where he would take his students to Mexico, and they go to visit the archaeological sites and the Mayan culture over there. So we met on the trip. We got to know each other on the trip.
Oh, that's neat. You'd go with him on the trip?
Yeah. I went the first time. I think it was in was it 89? He was something like that. And then later on, the second one was when I met my.
So
my wife.
You like archaeology?
Well, it's interesting, but that just actually I took anthropology. It was an elective that I took once, and that's where I met him, and he invited me. It was a great trip. So I got to meet my wife.
That was good. I had a good friend that taught anthropology here. What was his name? Your professor?
Myers, Tom Myers.
Yeah,
I don't know if
Tom.
You know
he's my compadre's compadre.
Oh, really? Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, that's neat. So that was a good relationship. And so now your father was running the business, and of course he's passed. When did your father pass?
2005.
Okay. And so were you working the bakery then?
Yes.
Helping your father? And then when your father passed, your mother comes in the picture.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't working anymore. She retired a while back.
Okay.
So it was just myself and all the employees. I mean, they've been there for years, so they pretty much the business pretty much can run itself. You know, we got a good employees. They're pretty I mean, they're honest, and the business, you know, it can run itself. It's just a matter of taking care of it and making sure everything's done. But yeah, I mean, they're good employees, so I really don't have to worry too much about.
That's great. There. And your mother, is she still alive?
No, she passed away last year, 2012.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you run the business after your father's passing then, and did that didn't cause a big change in the business, because you say you had employees.
Right. Same employees, like I said, for years and years. So the bread is the same. Recipes are the same. My father's recipes. So everything's the same. There might be a person or two that might say it's different. I guess only because they think, well, the owner passed away. You know, it's going to be different. But no, everything's the same.
And your brother, did he follow the business as well?
Yes. We used to have a bakery on North Loop, and in fact, right next to the community college right there, the Bowie Bakery campus. And we had to move that bakery to Socorro, and he got that bakery. He owns that one, so he's over there. So we're separate, but yeah, he does have. He's in the bakery business as well.
What's his name?
His name is Ponciano.
Ponciano.
Ponciano, yes.
What do they call him?
Ponciano.
Really?
Yeah.
Ponciano. That's neat. And so, is he a maestro also?
Yes, I guess he is too.
Are you a maestro in baking?
No, actually, I'm more of in the business part of it. I run. I got more. I mean, I did get in there and I would make bread and everything, and I'd help them out. But I was more on the business side of the business.
Okay.
Of the bakery.
And you enjoy that?
Yes, I do.
Now I know that a few years ago, you had a stroke.
Right.
What was that?
Well, I was working out. I was in the gym, and all of a sudden my left side became numb and flaccid. They found I had a rupture in my brain, and I had to go have surgery. They took me immediately to the hospital, and they performed emergency surgery to stop the bleed. Well, they found a malformation.
Wow.
They call it an AVM, an arterial venous malformation, and they said I was born with it. I had it my entire life, but it came to that point where it ruptured.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm very lucky to be alive.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So they do the surgery and you're in recovery for a long time?
Yes, well, they stopped the surgery. They did the surgery, they stopped the bleed. Unfortunately, the damage was already done, so I'm still paralyzed on the side. I did a lot of therapy, still doing it, and it's helped, but I still can't function the way I used to. So I don't get in there, and I used to like to make bread, and in fact I was the cake decorator for the bakery, but I can't do that anymore. So I just handle the business part of it.
So did that affect the business?
Not really, no.
Okay.
No, like I said, the bakers, everybody's been there for years and years, so the business pretty much can run itself. They do the same thing every day, same recipes, same method and everything, and same ingredients. So everything, pretty much runs the same.
And your wife, does she help you with the business?
Well, she can't do much either. She used to, but she can't. She was in a really bad accident. She was standing at the back of her car. She had the trunk open, and she was parked. It was an intersection, a residential intersection, and there was a van coming in the direction where she was, and this other car ran a stop sign and broadsided the van, and the van flipped over and it slid, and it pinned her between the roof of the van and the back of her car. So she had multiple fractures. Her legs, both her legs were broken. Her arms. She had a puncture wound in her neck. Just terrible. So they took her, and they literally performed a miracle, I think, because they saved her life. And poor thing, she's got rods, pins, screws on her legs, her arms. She's very, very fortunate.
Wow.
We're very fortunate.
How long after your stroke was that?
5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, mine happened in 2000, and hers was in 2005. In fact, mine happened on December 4th of 2000, and her accident was on November 4th, 2005.
Wow, what a fright! But the business goes on.
Right. Yes.
And you have children.
Yes, we have two kids. Our oldest is 14, and our youngest is 10, going on 11. And they were babies when that happened to my wife. Actually, my daughter was about to turn a year when I had my stroke, and then my son was I think he was 2 years old when she had her accident.
Little children. So you had to step in.
Right, yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. And so, because the business that you have is family oriented,
Mm-hmm.
and so all your workers just keep operating the business as you go through these things.
Yes.
And so the big struggle, I guess, was to keep the business and maintain it.
Right, yeah.
And what kind of struggles did you have in doing that as you go through all of these personal issues?
Well, when I had my stroke, my wife, of course, she was still fine, so she was helping me out a lot. I had problems remembering things and working with numbers, and it was difficult for me. I couldn't. I guess my brain wasn't working properly, and she would help me a lot. She helped me a lot doing the business side of it. The numbers, the sales, and all the office work. And but then, like I said, she had her accident, and but by that time I was already better recuperated. So it was a good thing that I went back to work. She helped me go back to work. She said, "No, you have to go back to work,"
Okay.
and because everything that I would do would help, in my opinion, would help my recovery as far as my brain is concerned. And so yeah, I go and I do whatever I can. I can't do any more decorating, any type of labor, but yeah, I work the office. I supervise, and I just make sure everything's done properly. Quality control.
You still have to manage all of that quality
Right,
control.
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you also expanded.
Right. Yes. We opened up another location on the west side. We're located on Donovan and Mesa, and we've been there for about 5 years now. And I hired, actually, my brother-in-law, my sister's brother, manages that bakery for me. And yeah, he's a great help.
Your brother-in-law is your wife's brother?
Yes.
Your wife's brother. Okay, okay. And so he runs that for you.
Mhm.
Is he a baker too?
No.
Okay.
He's just a smart guy. He's good at business, so he helps me out a lot.
So tell me, did the schooling in business,
Mhm.
did that help you understand the business better?
Yeah, it did, but actually I learned more there at the bakery. As far as the business side of it, I learned more there. And well, yeah, like I said, I have good employees, and they help me out a lot. And that's what helps the business go smoothly.
So do you have turnover with employees?
Yeah, not a whole lot, but yeah, we do. I mean, it's like any other business. We go through the same problems, same struggles, but it's not that bad though.
Because being a baker, I don't see that as a profession, but there are people that are professional bakers, and that's what you look for, right?
Yes.
Are they people that really just love that, or it's part of their background, or where do the bakers come from?
Yeah, well, they're everywhere, but not too many. Not too many are as good at the craft as others are. The turnover is mostly in sales, the sales part of it. But bakers, like I said, they've been there for years and years, and we don't have too much of a problem with that.
But you call it a craft.
Mm-hmm.
What makes it a craft?
Well, because not anybody can do it. I mean,
why not?
Well, it's not that easy. I mean, it takes quite a while to learn how to do it, because everything's done by hand, and there's a lot of manipulation of the dough, the baking, the mixing. It's not that easy. You see the bakers doing it. They make it look easy, but it's not. And in fact, there's people that might come in. Oh, I'm a baker. I worked for so many years, and we put them up there next to the table, and they don't they don't do the same thing. They don't work the same way as some of the other bakers that we have there.
And so you can tell right away when somebody's good.
Yes, you can.
And the customer knows the difference too, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because there's customers that always buy the same thing. So when something, they can tell when it doesn't taste the same, and they let you know too.
Really?
Yeah. But every baker, every baker is different. They try to teach them, the ones that are there, they try to teach them and show them how we make it there. But even after, there's some people that even after a week or more doing it over and over, they still don't do it the same way, and the customer can tell.
Wow. So that's your job, is to make sure that the quality is there.
I go around and check up on everything, make sure that it looks good, that it tastes good. But yeah, that's mainly what I do.
Wow. That so it not only has to look right, it has to taste right.
Right.
But the look is part of the deal.
Yes.
And so, because I know I get empanadas, and they always, I know what they look like. So I guess that's part of the package, right?
So you would know if something was different. You'd know right away. Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, when I get empanada from another bakery, I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell the difference. And so that's right. Not every place makes it the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get more into talking about, the craft, and so your role is really maintaining the craft of the profession.
Right. Yeah.
Because you have a very loyal client base.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you have a loyal client base, because when I go, there's always a line, and people driving up, and you don't have parking.
No.
Street parking. People park.
Yeah, they park wherever they can, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but you because I know you open at 6 in the morning, and I know I used to go at 10 o'clock in the morning, and everything would be sold out that I needed. So, but I know you're making all the time now.
Yes.
So I want to get in and ask you some more questions about that craft and the kinds of breads that you make, and how you've been able to build a business and how the expansion went. We've been talking about your father running the bakery, buying it in 1971, and he passed away in 2005, and you took over. But you were telling me a couple of things that I want to talk about. You've had dignitaries visit the bakery.
Yes, George Bush, when he was governor of Texas, I think it was the first time he visited El Paso. He made the bakery one of his stops. That was an exciting time. There was a big, fuss there. I remember there was a big thing that we all did, that we all made from. They had balloons. They had the street was, I think it was closed off, the intersection, and it was full of people standing outside the bakery. And
wow.
Yeah, and he went, and we gave him a tour of the bakery, him and his wife, Miss Bush, and they drank coffee, they ate bread, and I remember the place was packed wall to wall with people.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Some mariachis showed up. I don't know who sent them, right? But yeah, it was the kids from the high school from Bowie.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah.
They went over there and they played for him and everything. So it was a pretty neat experience.
Well, you're a neighborhood business. People grow up in the neighborhood. How do you relate to customers? You talk to customers all the time. You see customers.
Yeah. They always tell me their stories of when they were kids, and a lot of them are people that I know, like people from school, or just customers that go in there on a regular basis. And I enjoy talking to them.
What do they tell you?
They just, well, they first of all, their expression, they love smelling the bread. The second they walk in, that's the first thing they say.
Yeah.
You know, they love the smell, and they're looking all over the place. They don't know where to start. But their expression. I mean, they love going in, and I like seeing their expression and what they say.
So that's a very personal business too for you. And you were telling me that your father didn't drive. You guys rode the bus from the Northeast, which is what, 20 miles away?
Something like that. It was 15 or so, something like that. But it was a long ride, because it's a bus. You know, all the buses route, all the stops and everything. So it took quite a while to get to the bakery.
You had to take two different buses to get to the
That's
bakery.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
And so you'd work until night, close the business, and then take the bus back.
Yeah. Well, in fact, because since I can remember, we would close at 10 at night. Some of the times, and I remember clearly, we had to sleep there. My mom would take blankets and pillows, and she'd put cardboard boxes on the floor, and she'd make our little makeshift bed, and we'd sleep on the floor.
Wow, so that became kind of like a home for
you.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it really has been a home for you.
Right.
And then, so because your father didn't drive, you didn't have a car.
Right. Yeah. Finally, my mom got tired of that. I remember, and she went to she found a little driving school, and she went every day, and she actually learned how to drive. And when they were able to, they bought a big old used station wagon, and we had a car now, and we started driving back and forth. Yeah, and I remember it was a long trip as well, because she would drive up. I don't think they had the freeway yet, but either way, she was afraid to get on the freeway. But yeah, we'd drive all the way up and down Dyer, and it took quite a while. Just almost as long as a bus. Wow. Because she was a new driver. But my dad never learned how to drive.
Oh, but your mother was gutsy enough to learn how to drive.
She was a gutsy, feisty lady.
That's neat. And so, what is your? Because you serve all kinds of Mexican bread.
Mm-hmm.
What is your what are your best sellers?
We sell a lot of the empanadas de piña, de manzana, and we sell a lot of what they call the esponjas or conchas. We sell a lot of those. The marranitos are famous there. Yeah. The marranitos. Yeah, we sell a lot of those.
Yeah, everything you say is what I just love those, the empanadas de piña, and then now esponjas. I'll ask for pan de huevo.
Yes.
Or they're esponjas, or they have all kinds of names. Mm-hmm. I've also seen people come and buy bags of the little French breads, the francesitos.
Francesitos, yeah.
What do you call those?
Francesitos. Okay. They also call them bolillos. I remember we used to call them that all the time. But yeah, there's bolillos, francesitos, pan blanco.
Now you make a lot of donuts. Right?
Right. Yeah. Every day.
In the morning, I see kids going up. When I was there yesterday, and 7:15, and kids are walking up, and they have their whatever it is, a quarter or 50 cents. And they buy their donut on their way to school.
Oh yeah, it gets pretty rowdy in there in the mornings.
Really?
Yeah, all the kids. Yeah, there's a lot of kids going to school.
Wow, and that's. But there is an aroma, and you can smell it when you get by. So now that building that your father rented, now that's now your property?
Yes. I remember there was a house attached to the bakery, and I remember there was an old couple that lived there, and they had a dog. There was a screen door, metal screen door that separated the house from the bakery, and I remember the little dog running up and down that hallway, and I remember him barking and stopping at the door, at the screen door that separated the two buildings. But yeah, that couple lived there. And I guess when he was able to, my dad purchased the whole building. He bought the whole thing all the way from the alley to the corner, and we expanded. We expanded the bakery back. We turned the house into the bakery. I remember what is now our oven room, which is way at the back of the building, next to the alley. That used to be the garage. I remember he had his car in there, and their house. Part of it is the storage room where we have our ingredients, and then there's another room, another one that used to be a bedroom, is now where we decorate cakes, and we use a kitchen. So it grew a little bit, it changed, but yeah, I remember all of that. It was different.
So how do you keep up with the demand?
Well, we just have the bakers make what we need. Sometimes they'll have to put in overtime, and just to keep up with that.
One of the things that you do is that what is it in January? You make the roscas.
Right.
The roscas are a round pastry with a little doll of baby Jesus inside,
the
right?
Rosca de Reyes, yeah. It's known as a king's cake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a large, well, just like it says, ring. It's made out of. It tastes like the esponja. It's a different recipe, but it tastes like that, and it's a big ring, and it has a baby inside, and as far as I know, the tradition is that you cut that or you eat that as a group, and you slice up the cake, and whoever gets the baby is now responsible for, I believe, throwing a party. I think it's on the 2nd of February, and it's funny because a lot of people they don't want to do this, so I've heard that they hide it, or yeah. Or sometimes they call us back and they say they call us complain. They might complain that they didn't find a baby in the cake, but we put 2 in there. We have 2 sizes. In the large one, we put 2. No, actually, we put like 2 or 3.
Really?
In the large ones, just to make sure that doesn't happen.
So they hide it because they don't want
I imagine that's what they do.
That's funny.
Yeah, but it's every year.
So, like, you make how many thousands of those for that day?
Well, we end up making about 800 or 900 in that day.
Wow.
Yeah, it gets pretty crazy there.
And Christmas, New Year's, do you have special things that you make?
Well, no, it's just like every other day. I mean, I know it's a holiday and everything, but our desserts sell a lot. Our empanadas, our francesitos. We sell a lot of those on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving, there's people. I mean, we have to make several carts full of the pan blanco, the francesitos. There's people come in and they buy it all up.
Yeah, because they're making menudo for New Year's.
Right.
And you can't have menudo without a francesito.
Exactly.
That's neat. So you're very much a part of serving the culture, serving the Hispanic culture. Mm-hmm. Do you sense that in your business? Do you feel that? Do you see that your business is a cultural icon?
Yes, people always say that. I mean, we've been there for so long. People. I hear that all the time. That it's an institution that. I mean, they love it there. They love going there. Like I said, people always have their stories from when they were kids, and it's like I said, we've been there so long, and people go there all the time.
Now there are other bakeries, Mexican Mexican bread bakeries in town, but you've been a dominant one. I'm assuming. In my eyes, you're very well known, and now with the expansion, that's been successful.
Yeah, it's something it's kind of slow. It's worked, but it takes time. It takes time because people are used to the original one. you know, they'll say, oh, it's not the same, but it's the same recipes, same bakers. In fact, sometimes we deliver from this bakery to the other one, but people still might think that might say that it's not the same. But yeah, it's you know, I mean, we've been there long enough to where everything's running smooth now.
So so in your neighborhood in South El Paso, where the bakery is, well, you grew up in that neighborhood. So the guys that they grew up in the second ward, el segundo barrio, are your friends, and then they move out. But when they move out, they still drive down to get the bread.
Right.
And so you know, what in your own family, you see yourself growing the business?
Yes. I'd like to expand a little bit more, maybe open a few more locations, but it's not easy. It's quite a task.
What do you like most about the business?
It just, to me, it's home. You know, I feel comfortable there. You know, I like going every day, and you know, my employees, we're all a family now. We're a family, and they, you know, I don't know. I just enjoy going, and I just enjoy the atmosphere there. It's like home. It's home.
So that's important to you.
Yes. No. Yes.
And your kids, do they get involved? Do they go down there? Do they?
I take them every now and then. They're still little, you know. I'd like for them to just you know, to work there maybe when they're a little bit older. Well, actually, my daughter, she's gone and helped several times. She works the front. She was like I said, she's 14 now, but I remember she was about 8 or so, and she went. And she worked like a 6-hour shift.
Really?
Yeah, I remember, and she likes it, and she likes making the bread. Sometimes she does. I'll do the same as what my dad would do. I'll put her up against have her stand against the table, and the bakers will hand her a little piece of dough or something, and they teach her how to make little empanadas or something, and she's pretty good. So yeah, but you know, I want them to go to college, and I want them to choose their career, and but they always have a place to work.
That's neat. You wouldn't be surprised if they decide to stay with the business, right?
No. I mean, that'd be great if they wanted to. Of course, it's going to be their choice. But yeah, that'd be good.
So, what is it like running a business?
Well, it's not easy. It's a lot of work, a lot of hard work. Got a lot of problems that you have to solve. Just taking care of the place, making sure everything's running.
Like, what kinds of problems does a small business have?
I mean, just you know, just things that come up that are unexpected. For example, like if an employee can't make it to work, or a piece of equipment isn't working when you need it to work. For example, it could be the start of the day and the oven goes out. So we have to scramble and figure out what we need to do and call who we need to call right away. And I mean, I'm just like every other business. You know, you just have to be prepared to solve that problem.
And so you're there to direct the solution of the problem.
Well, I try to.
Yeah.
I try to. Yeah.
But you have people on staff that also step in.
Right.
What kinds of challenges are you facing in terms of anything hit the business? It's a big challenge the last few years.
Well, not really. I mean, it's just like I said, it runs pretty smooth. The business can pretty much run itself. It's just hoping that customers keep walking in. So we try to make the best product that we can, to keep the customer happy, keep them coming in, and just trying to survive. You know,
I know that you have a new computer system at the counter. Did that cause any issues in changing to computer systems?
Not really, not at all. In fact, it made things easier. Yeah, we can keep track of inventory, track of sales. We know which item sells most or more. It's helped a lot. We used to have those old registers, and you can do what you can do now with those.
So now you track everything.
Yes.
And what does that give you? What does that information give you as the director of the business?
Well, it tells us, what we need to make more of or less of. Helps us know what ingredients we have to buy, how much of it, and our sales, our daily sales, our monthly sales. I mean, it's changed quite a bit from what my parents had back then.
Like how?
Well, like I said, with more information, we have better accounting of everything. It just it helps a lot with the numbers, with like I said, keeping track of everything.
So what's the key of your business? To understand your business, what's the heart of it?
I think the people there have to love what they do. Bakers have to love their craft, and I think the happier they are there, the more they love their craft, the better the product comes out.
And what do you do to help them stay happy?
Well, just I guess just try to keep them, just be enthusiastic about it. Just you compliment what they do, what you see. You just tell them that they're doing a good job, which they are. I mean, that's a lot of them. That's all they know. That's all they know how to do. And but they love it. Otherwise, they would have gone to do something else. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just having a good relationship with them. Just them loving what they do.
Wow. So the interesting thing then is that every part of your business is a labor of love?
I think so. Yes, I do. So everybody that's there, people that like in the kitchen or the decorators, I mean, they like what they do. They you can tell they go every day with a smile on their face. They're there ready to work, and like I said, it's a family, and they all get along pretty good. And,
so as you've grown the business and having worked under your father, and your mother, and learning the values they have, and it's something you stepped into. What's different about you running the business now compared to when your father was running the business?
Well, like I said, we've modernized it a little bit. Like I said, it runs a little smoother than before. It's not as much of a struggle for me as it was for them. I have a little bit more freedom or liberty to go and come because of my employees. Like I said, they all know what they need to do when it runs smooth. My parents, they had to be there all the time because they're the ones that did the actual work.
So that's the big difference.
For me, it is, yeah.
That your father was always there, and you can take time out to do your therapy and things like that.
Right.
So where did you learn that?
From him. Like I said, he showed me how to do everything that they do there, and I also learned from the employees there, the bakers.
So what did a college education do for you then?
Well, it helped me know how to work with employees, how to manage, how to do accounting of the business, how to manage the business itself.
So as you observed your father's business while he was still running it, did you see problems? Did you see that maybe old ways weren't cutting it anymore?
Yes, I tried not to change too much of the way they, because there's different ways, easier ways of making bread or cakes or desserts and stuff like that. But I try not to change that too much. I just let them do everything, the old way, just by hand and just the way my father used to do it, and the way because he taught a lot of them how to work as well, how to make their bread.
Are there changes coming in the industry? Are there automatic bread makers or things like that?
Oh, there's all kinds of things.
Really?
There's all kinds of things. Yeah, to make that job easier. There's a lot of machines and equipment that you can use, but it doesn't always work the same way. So like I said, so almost everything is made by hand.
So what is your hesitation to move to more modern ways of making things?
Well, just I don't want it to change too much, because like I said, customers, they notice. They know when their favorite piece of bread isn't the same.
So you value that.
Yes.
And when you
yes.
say the same, you're talking, it's been the same for 50 years.
Right.
And you preserve that. So you're really a you monitor the quality to preserve the taste and the style that's always been there.
Yes.
And that's your trademark.
Yes. I mean, I have to make sure that it's coming out the way it's supposed to, the way it always has, because customers will let you know, right away. They'll let you know, well, it doesn't taste the same or it doesn't look the same, and we got to keep it original, the same way.
Have other bakeries tried to mimic you?
You know what? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, I've gone to other bakeries just to look, but I don't know. To be honest with you.
I know when I've been to a function, they've had pan dulce, sweet bread. I'll know when it's from Bowie Bakery.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. In fact, when I have a meeting, I'll go and get bread from the Bowie Bakery, and if it's a morning meeting, so people can have some good empanadas. I like that. But I like the what you've brought to the community. See, you've been a stable institution in your community, which is a low-income community. But you built a good business in that environment, and you built an icon in the larger El Paso community. Do you see that? Do you see the value of that?
Yes, I suppose I do. I mean, it's an old business, and it's thrived. It's gone through all kinds of different economies, bad economies, good economies, and it's thrived. And it's my father. My father is there. He's still there, I think, because everything's made the way he used to make it, and that's very important. And I think people see that, they notice it.
And your brother in his bakery, he does the same. He still keeps the same recipe, or he changed?
Yes. Well, I don't go there too often, but as far as I know, he's doing the same thing.
Yeah. So you have a tradition, and you maintain that. So what's the legacy of the Bowie Bakery?
Well, I want to make it as successful as I can, and keep everything the way my dad had it. As far as the bread itself, the taste, the texture, the quality, because it's him. It's his stamp, so to speak, on that bread. They're his recipes. It's him in that bread and everything that we make.
And that's important for you to preserve. And you're doing a good job at that, right?
Well, thank you, Al. I'm trying.
And you're open 6 days or 7 days?
No, 7 days a week.
Wow.
6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
So you're making bread every day?
Yes.
Wow, that's a big job. That's a big job. But it's been a good business for you, and it's taken care of your family?
Yes, yes, thank God, yeah, it has. Very fortunate.
And now you're able to take some vacations?
Yes, fortunately, I have been able to. That's a good thing. Like I said, my employees they're honest, they're loyal, and they're, you know, like I said, the business pretty much runs itself. So I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity, the opportunity to leave town if I have to, or take a day off, or two. You know, I'm very, very lucky.
Well, you know, you built and maintained an organization. You say lucky, but people wouldn't stay around if you didn't help create that environment where they're comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot has to be said. You know, that you've been able to maintain that and respect your father's recipes, respect the environment, so that those maestros stay with you and stay with you a long time, because they're the ones that ultimately are making that quality product that you that you provide. So I really appreciate your taking time to share with us your story. It's a wonderful story, and I'm honored, Mr. Marquez, that you took time to share with us. So thank you so much for sharing with us, and I thank you viewers for taking time to listen to our story, and we certainly trust that you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching this show and being loyal to observe these programs. We appreciate you very much, and you have a good day. Thank you.